Alright, what are we doing today? Oh, I know. So you guys that have these kind of motors, this is like I think they call this a 60 degree. I don't think it's a 90 degree. I think it's a 60 degree. Johnson Evinrude V6. This is a 175. Notice like the plastic carburetors, which we don't like at all. And I think he has a fuel bulb issue because it was laying down instead of laying up. Yeah, I think I wanted to look too because see, like it's taking a lot just to get pumped up. As soon as it runs, the complaint is that he says he can get up on plane right away and then he idles around. Say he stops for a little while and fishes. So he stops a little while and fishes, and then he gets ready to leave and starts the motor and takes off, and he can't get on plane. He pushes in the choke button and then it'll just get right up on plane. So I'm kind of leaning towards like a fuel pump, but I'm looking, you know, because these plastic carbs, man, it could be a real pain. So what I thought I'd do is just run it. He says it does run. I wanted to check and just make sure that, like, for one thing, that all the carbs are equal, because he also said like he adjusted these carbs. So, you know, it's like there can be several issues here. So maybe just crank it, see if I can get it to fire up, see what happens. So from that test, I can tell like this carburetor is not pulling as much air. The bottom two carburetors are not pulling as much air as the top two. So. Alright, I just went look because, I mean, he told me he messed with these, and I was like, and he said something about 8 turns or something. And I just went and looked it up because in my mind I was thinking 5.5 turns, you know. I don't know why I thought that, but I did. And so I went and looked it up. Make sure I got the same. No, I can get to the top 2 carbs with my little tool, but the bottom ones are kind of hard to get to. But I just went and looked, and they're saying like yeah, I wonder what's going on with this piece of, oh, they just blocked off that port. With the piece of tape. That's another thing. That's not right. Huh. So they had this. I got to get a plug and I blocked that off. But yeah, this is not even close. So there's a, like, I don't know if you can see it, but all these carburetors down here, they got this hex screw, and that's like your air idle adjustment. You guys see that down there that I got my Allen wrench on? Anyway, they had this thing way out, like 8 turns. And I was like, what? So no wonder it was probably sucking lots of air. So just run it in until lightly seated. Like about right there. And we're gonna set all these to 5 and see what we got from there. So half, and let me just make sure I'm good. Half, 1, half, 2, 2.5, 3, 3.5, 4, 4.5, 5. Anyway, I'm gonna do that to all of these guys. Okay, this one likes to sit at 8.5 turns. I don't know. I mean, I've checked the timing. It's about, I don't know. It's right around between like 7 and 9 degrees. Is that before top dead center or after? I think it's after, actually. I could check the wide open throttle, but yeah, I'm just wondering, we throw some different plugs in it, because those are not the plugs that it's calling for. It's calling for like a, what did it say? QLR. Let me go look. But yeah, set 8.5 turns. I thought it was 5.5. But that's where it likes to sit, so why? Hey, if that's what it wants, that's what it wants. Alright, well, so a lot of people like to, they get these Johnson Evinrude motors, you know, those 150s on up, man, and from the 90s, well, 2000s, really, early 2000s, and like the V6 loopers, right? Those, anyway, this 90, 70, 75, 90, 115. They're optical ignition, but then they like to delete the VRO, so because they want to just mix their gas, and then so they disconnect it from the pump, and it's got an integral oil pump, fuel pump. So then, you know, what do you do? Like this one I'm working on is like over 25 years old, about 25 years old. So he's deleted the oil. So I tell him, hey, you know, gotta put a pump back on it, or you gotta need a new pump. And so an OEM pump is very expensive, and it has the oiler built into it. That's what I think they should go back to. But anyway, so but then you could make, or you could try to modify and do something, but you have 3 carbs on one side, 3 carbs on the other side, so you can't use just one pump. So I have a 200 horsepower that I could get away with just using one pump, but because it had just 3 carbs or 2 carbs, whatever it was. This one has 6 carbs, so 1 for every cylinder. So you need 2 outputs. You got to go to 1 set that's on the starboard side and 1 set that's on the port side. And so anyway, what I don't know, you know, like what's really cool is I found out EMP, which is a very good company, makes a lot of really good stuff. They've got a VRO replacement fuel pump, right? And so there was the old one, 47359, but this one's 1399-07359, and what it is a pump that'll fit in place of that old VRO, but this has got 2 pumps, and what it is it looks like this. And they even give you like some instructions. Let me just show you first. So that's the inlet side. One's pulse and one's out. I don't remember how this works. We're getting ready to find out. I thought it had. I looked at this and I thought it had. Anyway, I hope I have the right pump. Line in, pulse, line out. So they give you a couple of methods actually. How do we know if I have a 60 degree or 90 degree engine? Method 1, the 60 degree V4 and the V6 cowl will have vents on the top. Vents on the top. I'm trying to read this and show you, but the 90 degree typically will not. Method 2, looking at the top of the outboard, the 90 degree will have a more triangular profile, while the 60 degree is more rounded. So I guess we're gonna have to figure out how to send it to both sets of carbs. Anyway, we'll figure out how to do that. I'll get the old one off first, so I'm gonna go over and look at that and at least get it started today. At least get it started today. It's kind of towards the end of the day, so I'm gonna see just how far I get and then shut her down. It's cool over there right now, so I take the battery out the power and stuff like that, get set up. Okay, sorry about that, my battery died. So what I'm saying about these is that if you can, like, you should, like, there's 2 pumps. There's 2 of these fuel pumps. They're both, you know, $500-ish. Let's just say that. And you want OEM. You don't want the cheap knockoffs you can buy online. Just buy OEM pump. So you can get a traditional one. It's like this with the oiler. My position is don't delete the oiler. Use the oiler, right? You can get a pre-mix version that's for if you decide you want to delete the oiler but you need a fuel pump. You can get a fuel pump. It's an EMP pump, but it's a replacement non-VRO, so you can get one of those. And I believe I've got this figured out, that in here, I don't know if I understand what's happening. I think this is doing some kind of vacuum that, because we got vacuum in and out. There is a way to test these, but I know it pumps because we ran it, and he's just running. He's deleted the oilers, so, you know, anyway. I'm gonna throw it back on some point. It's real hot right now, and then I'll get him to go and we'll take it again and see if the problem persists or if we've solved it. But the gap was only about a ½ inch, and it says you're supposed to have 1.25 inches, so that float was barely even moving. So now it's moving all the way down like it should, and so we'll see what happens. Anyway, never know. That's a trip, ain't it? I could make you the camera guy.
What for?
You're just like, no. All right.
Lucy, 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 come here. Lucy.
Okay, I never know what God's bringing me. Anyway, what am I doing? I gotta take this handle off, but I need to really get this panel loose so that, sorry, I gotta get this panel loose. At the same time, the guy next door is moving out, asked me if he could borrow my thing with the star bit, you know. Kind of interesting. Anyway. Well, hopefully this day doesn't get any weirder. I got other stuff I need to do, or want to do. Wow. It's just kind of laying everywhere. Alright, I need a star bit. There we go. Alright, now. Let's figure out what's going on. It gets that loose anyway.
Oh, could you hand me that frisbee? Get the dog some water.
You got a short somewhere. What is this?
What?
What is this right here? I don't know if you want.
Oh, that's my radio.
What is that spliced into?
I've got a straight line, that black cord with the red and green in it goes straight back to a battery.
Okay.
separate from the motor.
So then we got a short somewhere else. I just gotta follow it down. Well, we're getting there.
I mean, that is totally separate from anything to do with the boat. That's my electronic AC run,
Okay.
which is a separate battery from the motor.
I'm just looking for a green, you know. Well, I'm draining the tub and gonna take it over to the marina and test it out. It's a 3-cylinder, 6-banger, Black Max, 135. Some people don't like it because it's the 3 carbs, but there's a carb for every cylinder. I don't know. I think they run pretty good. Anyway, I gotta drain the water so I can move this thing out of the way and go get some food. I'm starting to be hungry. Of course, once I get the choppers going, it's hard to turn them off. My Uncle Scotty calls it the feed bag. Go get your feed bag on. Anyway. What do you think, Hatchet?
Oh yeah. Good water. Boy, it sure is putting a lot of oil back in the water.
Oh, that's what they do. Cause see, the exhaust is coming out here, and that's
I
going.
thought the exhaust came out right there.
Well, it does there too, but a lot of it comes out this way. You know, so
Mostly the unburned fuel.
right. Some of these they had some ports, you know, exhaust ports. This has an exhaust port here too. You know, so really these things don't really run great until they're in the water. That should run pretty good though now. Hopefully it idles. You know, man, it was hard to get it to do right. That's for sure. It should be all right now. We're hoping and praying. Anyway. Yeah, because I got other jobs. I got to get done.